Brilliance Audio presents The Last Dance by Martin L. Shoemaker. Performed by Natalie Naudis, Leon Nixon, Donna Postel, Joyce Bean, Ron Butler, Rebecca Mozo, Whitney Dykehouse, and Christopher Lane.
It's a damn express train. Oh, I don't mean it's fast. I mean it goes from point A to point B on a fixed route, no stops in between. Then it circles around and goes back. I'm glad it'll take us to point B, but it never even stops at either end to explore. This prototype will only make one loop before it goes in for redesign. But they're already working on her sister ship, the Aldrin, and that one will be a giant express train from nowhere to nowhere, never stopping. What kind of captain worthy of the title would want duty like that when there are worlds to explore? Captain Nicolau Aames.
The Aldrin Express derives its name from Buzz Aldrin, whom most people know as the Apollo 11 astronaut who walked on the moon alongside Neil Armstrong in 1969. Not as many people know that Aldrin was the first astronaut with a Ph.D. from MIT, and his doctoral thesis was Guidance for Manned Orbital Rendezvous. NASA selected him because of this expertise. The other astronauts soon nicknamed him Dr. Rendezvous as a result. Aldrin's orbital mechanical skills were needed when the radar failed during Gemini 12. Aldrin did the calculations in his head while Jim Lovell piloted their ship during a rendezvous in Earth orbit. If a similar failure had occurred in lunar orbit, he could have helped Armstrong rendezvous with Mike Collins in the mothership while out of touch with mission control. After Apollo, Aldrin joined a chorus of space enthusiasts promoting plans to explore and settle Mars. Addressing one of the major obstacles to sustaining a settlement, he applied his rendezvous skills to the problem of the recurring fuel costs of transporting people to and from Mars. Fuel typically accounts for 85% of the mass of a rocket. He discovered a way to significantly reduce this cost by utilizing a circulating orbit and regular gravity assists from Earth. He described this plan, later named the Aldrin Cycler, in Cyclic Trajectory Concepts, published in 1985. The Aldrin Cycler reduces the cost in two ways. First, the mass of the transit habitat with its radiation shielding, recycling life support systems, communications equipment, and so forth is launched once and reused. Every reuse saves at least 4 supersized rockets worth of fuel. Secondly, like grabbing a pole to swing around and change direction, the Cycler takes advantage of Earth's gravity instead of using fuel to travel from Earth to Mars. These opportunities occur every 26 months near the time, called opposition, when Earth is passing Mars. Mars is then overhead at midnight, on the opposite side of Earth from the Sun. Once on the orbital track, the Cycler never stops. To get on board, personnel and their luggage ride a taxi flight to rendezvous and dock with the Cycler as it flies by Earth. About 5 months later, the Cycler flies past Mars. The passengers get back in their taxi and ride it to Mars. A taxi from Mars might also deliver supplies or crew to the Cycler during the flyby. The Cycler then continues outward past Mars's orbit at 1.5 AU to about 2.3 AU, where 1 AU is Earth's distance from the Sun. It slows down and falls back toward the Sun. It crosses Mars's orbit again on the way back, but Mars has already passed through that intersection and is not there. As the Cycler crosses Earth's orbit, Earth's gravity pulls the spacecraft toward it and speeds it up. The Cycler then swings around Earth and changes direction back toward Mars, not using any fuel. While passing by Earth, another group of passengers can taxi to the Cycler. Aldrin wants this outbound Cycler named Armstrong, after Neil. The crew that rides the Armstrong to Mars must wait 31 months for it to fly by Mars again. Thus, they would be gone from Earth for the 5-month trip to Mars, the nearly 31 months spent on Mars, and the 21-month return to Earth, for a total time away of about 4 years, 9 months. Alternatively, a second inbound Cycler, which Aldrin would name Conrad, after Apollo 12's Pete Conrad, can be launched so that the flyby of Mars occurs when the cycler crosses Mars's orbit on its way inbound. The Mars crew would only have to wait 25 months on Mars to catch this cycler, and the trip to Earth would again be 5 months. Their total time away drops to about 2 years, 11 months. Crew serving on the outbound or inbound cyclers would return to Earth every 26 months with a flyby of Mars either 5 months or 21 months into each tour. The Aldrin cycler is especially well suited to transport people and delicate items that can't be exposed to high acceleration, radiation, extreme temperatures, vacuum, or isolation during the long trip to Mars using other options. This cycler's primary drawbacks are that the flyby velocity at Mars is on the high side and the trajectory requires periodic corrections at aphelion to account for Earth and Mars not being in the same plane. Thus, the search continues for orbital solutions that lower the rendezvous speeds, reducing taxi fuel requirements, via more gravity assists or increasing the flight time and using more cyclers. And maybe someone will figure out how to open a wormhole, but that's another story. Before we hop on the Aldrin Express, I'd like to thank Martin for the invitation to ride along on this trip to Mars. Ever since we met at the 2013 Worldcon in San Antonio, just as Murder on the Aldrin Express came out in analog, it was obvious that we shared a passion for space and an appreciation for Buzz's vision of human settlements on Mars. I expect our 5-month trip to Mars will literally fly by as we continue to discuss and explore a wondrous future in space. Mary Ann Dyson is an award-winning author and a former NASA flight controller, the topic of her memoir, A Passion for Space. Her recent children's books include Welcome to Mars, Making a Home on the Red Planet, and To the Moon and Back, My Apollo 11 Adventure, co-authored with Buzz Aldrin.